Ladies and gentlemen, to distinguished leaders and also the other guests, good afternoon. Today, we already invited 5 heavyweight speakers to join us to discuss about the deep sea resources exploitations. We'd like to invite them to share their opinions and also their feedbacks. And to this stage, we can realize that the demand for this oil and gas has become an urgent demand, and also this has become a rapidly growing industry. And with the fast development of new technology and applications, we believe that this has further driven people's ability to exploit all these resources. But we're still facing some pressing issues such as technology barrier, and a lot of problems is waiting to be solved. And also right now, according to the UN organizations, according to the regional plans, they want to propose in an international stage the related law. But due to the COVID-19, we have postponed the whole this process and also discussions for those deep sea minings. And as for this laws, after we pass this law, either going to be carried out by UN and undersea organizations to carry forward, and they are going to involve about policy and also how to exploit also those metals and other precious minerals. And right now we're facing that a lot of the pressing issues. So that's why due to the COVID-19, you can see a lot of the issue involved about deep sea resources has also become the hot topic to be discussed. So today we're going to have a discussion about following issues, such as what is the pictures for the prospecting and exploration in the technology capability, and also we try to dig into all those resources, especially the oil and the gas in the deep seas, and what kind of the problem we need to solve first, and also in the post-COVID-19, what is the demand for oil and the gas, and also facing about the changing situation, how to guarantee the investors' rights and interests. And now I would like to give an introduction to our panelists today. First, that is the Deputy Director from the China Ocean Mineral Resources R&D Association, Mr. Lipman. Welcome. And also for the Chairman of the Shenzhen Jinhang Deep Sea Mineral Development Group, Mr. Tang Xinxiao. And also the IEI, the former Deans, Mr. Xinxiao. Welcome. And also the ABS Greater China and the Director of the Subsea and the Mining Operations, Mr. Andy Lipman. Welcome. And also the Tsinghua University Assistant Professor of the Shenzhen International Graduate Aid School, Mr. Li Sunwei. Welcome. So we can see that all of them is of great importance in their own fields, and I would like to invite all these panelists to share with us their opinions on these issues. First, I'd like to give the floor to the Deputy Director from the China Ocean Mineral Resources R&D Association. I'd like to hear from you, such as so what is the progress, and also what is the latest status of Chinese deep sea minings, and also we'd like to know, so what is your predictions for the future's commercial minings in these fields? First, I feel so honored and privileged to get this precious opportunity to share with everyone my own opinions. To start with, the moderator has mentioned the Chinese intention and the plan. I think it's mainly about Chinese progress in this field, because right now China began to pay attention to this deep sea resources, and all this has been based on the negotiations of international the public seas law from the United Nations. So starting from 1991, and you can see our organizations has first been entitled to those projects. At that time, you can see we are just a latecomers, and perhaps for those unnecessary resources, we had a lot of those resources, but we are not so familiar with it, because at that time, when having those kind of remote sea research is something unthinkable due to technology barrier. And speaking about the progress, after we kick it off, now you can see we are not only the frontline investors, and also the China Ocean Mineral Resources R&D Association. We pull together all the different resources and began to starting with research in its parts. And later, we use almost 2 decades until. So the first 10 years of this millennium, you can see we try to catch up with the pace of other counterparts. So as a developing country, we try to catch up with everyone in this field. And also along these times, the modules of different modules, and we have extended to other resources on the sea. And also, we also extended to the other chemical minerals, and we extended to the Atlantic Oceans and to Indian Oceans, from the Pacific Ocean. And so in the past 2 decades, China tried to merge into this industry stage. And speaking about our own awareness and understanding, we try to deepen it with our own efforts. And in the past 10 years, you can see we're not only catch up with other counterparts, reach the average international level. This is what we have achieved in the past decade. And also, at the same time, we have drive forward all kinds of the deep sea technology, such as a human-born submersible, and also ROV, and other system. We also developed our AUV system. Along this process, we also achieved remarkable results from electro drills and also the underwater sampling, and also the other digging technology, and also awareness in this part has also been improved. So in the past 10 years consecutively, you can see we have newly developed 4 mining areas in China. To this day, our contractor, we got like 232,000 square kilometers mining areas. We also contributed like 150,000 square meters international stage. This is what we have done in the past years. And also during this time, you can see we have change our concept in the mine site. We also mentioned about the seabed and also environmental protections for the deep sea area. We also mentioned that for those rain areas from the rain area of the environmental protections, not only including Pacific area but also the Indian Oceans. And also we also get other scientific organization. In the past several years, China has always been the chairman country to carry out all those investigation of the sulfide materials. Other things has represented China's progress in the past several years, because we try to catch up with other countries and also present it in the national stage and organizations with our best result. And also in the past several years, we can see we not only pursue the quantity of the mining areas. In the past 5 years especially, we want to change our focus from quantity to quality. Because when we try to catch up with everyone, we want to make sure we can improve the quality in the end. This has become focus in the past several years' work. And I also feel it personally, and also as a big country in the developing world, we should not only inherit this common heritage in the human world in the next 10 to 15 years. I want to make sure the contractors and the Chinese enterprises, you can always stay in line with other countries and contribute to this world and be on the same page. So Mr. Li, I would like you to share with us your opinions, speaking about the commercial minings and also technology, prospection, and some technology framework. Would you mind to share with us on this part? Well, I kind of missed the second question just now. Till now, you can see we got a fine mining area. 3 focus on the magnet nodules, and 1 focus on sulfide. And speaking from the Chinese strategic demands for those matters, especially for some metal resources, you can see that cobalt. We have a strong demand and increasing demand in this cobalt material, especially for those key strategic modules released by Chinese government is 35, and among them you can see you can find 7 to 8 from the deep sea, undersea, and they definitely be listed as strategic materials by Chinese government. Especially 95 of the carpet can be imported from other countries. So that's why, according to our next stage prediction, by the end of 2035, the demand from carpet will be at least 4 to 5 times of the current demand level. So if you want to guarantee all this demand, you can see a lot of those machines, such as the EV, and also there are other equipment need this material for healthy development. So that's why there will become a pressing demand. So speaking about the deep sea mining, if we can finally realize this goal, I firmly believe we can further guarantee and drive forward the human need to adopt the new technology, and we can even bring down the average price for the carbon material, and we can create definitely a better world.
So normally we would predict that between 2030 to 2035 we may begin commercial exploitation. As to the technology itself, based on the principle of inheriting the legacies of inheriting our resources together. Technology-wise, the current technology vision is like this. It consists of 5 factors. The first factor is green, or the first keyword is green. We shall pay more attention to sustainability, to green technology. The second keyword is the economics, and the third keyword is safety. The third one should be reliability. The fourth one should be intelligence. The fifth one is safety. So against this backdrop, the first 2 factors, green and economic, are the prerequisites, while the 3 latter factors are the technological, directions. So against this background, we have considered 11 potential technologies. The first one is digital mining technology. I have mentioned just now that the technological development and evolution is a continuous process. Digital mining, by building multi-layer and multi-dimensional mining system, will be able to make plans of prospecting and exploration, in particular with regard to environmental protection. Secondly, the overall commercialization technology of mining. I have also said, if we can produce 3 million tons annually or 10 million tons annually per mine area, every minute, each mine area should be able to yield 12 to 15 tons of minerals, in particular manganese nodules. So it's really a mobile ecosystem, unlike oil and gas. And the third technology that's promising would be platform-based technology, or the mobile platforms, module-based platforms. And the fourth promising technology would be highly efficient exploitation technology to precisely locate the mineral ores and have a high recoverable ratio. So this is very demanding for the sonar and other locationing technologies. In addition, unmanned or intelligent logistics systems are also very promising, from the mining area, from the mining spot to the port. And another one, the usage of a new resource, of new energy, that will be able to dive down the cost by using a new material, a new energy. Additionally, the intelligent management system or ancillary intelligence system should also be in place. In 10 to 15 years' time, this system should be highly unmanned and intelligent. Besides, the green processing technology should also be considered, the recycling of metals. And last but not least, we will call it, environmental monitoring and recovery management technology. So despite all these technologies, we must have a safeguarding system and platform. So I have summarized it into 11 technologies. That will be the key directions for this industry. I believe that the exploitation of resources should pay more attention to the philosophy of environmental friendly, to be able to exploit resources while protecting the ecosystem and driving the technological advancement of human society while paying special care to our planet Earth, to our ocean. So as a fellow practitioner in this industry, I think that will be the foundation of our philosophy. Thank you, Ms. Li Po. Director Li has give his comprehensive thought over this topic. I believe it's very thought-provoking. Coming next, I'd like to ask Mr. Tang Xinxiao, the chairman of Shenzhen Jinhang Deep-Sea Mineral Development Group. So, based on International Seabed Authority statistics, China is probably the first nation to start deep seabed mining. So what is your take on the prospect of this industry and what work has your enterprise done? Thank you for the question. So I'm from a Shenzhen enterprise. So I'd like to discuss this topic in relation to Shenzhen. So actually, Shenzhen intends to be an international oceanic-centric city. So actually, last year, Shenzhen's ocean economy or blue economy, the scale is around 260 billion. But internationally, this scale is not very outstanding. I'll give you some reference. Speaking of offshore oil and gas, many people would think of Houston in the United States because the offshore gas and oil engineering technology and the concentration level of enterprises are highly advanced. For Shenzhen, this city, what measures should Shenzhen adopt to become an international oceanic-centric city? So this is the agenda. This is the topic I'd like to discuss today. If Shenzhen becomes the center of deep seabed mining, then it will be very conducive to deliver Shenzhen's vision to become that hub. And the core enterprises, their revenue should exceed 100 billion annually. And it will be able to create hundreds of thousands of new jobs and attracting the best minds to work in this industry. So this is my thought, my estimation. You have mentioned International Seabed Authority's policies, I think. Never mind. You mentioned that International Seabed Authority said that China might be the first nation that kickstarting deep seabed mining. But there are two companies, GSR in Belgium and Senri from Canada. They have made commercial proposals. The first one said that it will start by 2019, and the another one said it will start by 2027. And actually, Jinhang, our company, has also a commercial plan. But it will be depending on our efforts. We hope it will be delivered very soon, as soon as possible. The second question mark. Our company was entered this industry in 2009, so 11 years has passed. This group, or our company, has done one thing. We did not earn any money. So what did we do? The deep seabed resources, from prospecting and from equipment manufacturing to processing to refinery to the market, this industrial chain, we have made early deployment on this entire industrial chain. So by deployment, I did not mean, writing several papers on these key subject matter, but we have capital level partners over the last decade. So if you ask me what I did in the previous decade, that's what we did. So thirdly, I think you haven't asked the question, so please ask your question. Okay, so maybe we are all concerned over this question. When exploiting deep seabed resources, how to ensure sustainability and commercial profitability? So just now, Director Li has highlighted that it is mandatory for people to exploit deep seabed resources while paying attention to the environmental issues. So actually, on this slide, you can see the photos of land exploitation of resources. For deep seabed exploitation, speaking of environmental impact, we must compare it with land exploration against the same framework to discuss. Otherwise, it will be pointless. Why? Because exploitation or prospecting on the land is exhaustible. But in order for human beings and society to advance, it cannot do without minerals and metals. So we cannot stop our steps. We must proceed with mining. Additionally, in fact, there are many underground minerals. Their exploitation depth has exceeded 1,000, 2,000, and even 4,000 meters underground. So it's fair to imagine if we were to build a 4,000-meter depth well plus redundant equipment on Earth, or should we build a drilling vessel that can drill over 6,000 meters? So which solution has less impact on the environment? So my point is, we cannot run away from this problem. As human beings, we need these resources. So you have also mentioned that International Seabed Authority intended to announce guidelines this year, but whatever reasons, it did not. But I think the pace is getting up. It will not wait for many years to come. As soon as the guidelines are in place, it verifies that environmental concerns brought by deep seabed mining, this discussion has entered into a new chapter. With this guideline, we will be able, or we will have the right to mine deep seabed resources as long as we meet the prerequisites, the conditions. So the ability to exploit deep seabed resources marks that the discussion over the deep seabed prospecting and exploration has entered into a new chapter. However, it is a perpetual topic. We intend to minimize the impact on the environment. At least the impact on the environment should be less than what we did on land. Okay, let's proceed. Here's another slide. So actually, this slide answers the first question, the prospect of deep seabed mining. So be it commercialization or equipment manufacturing, when it's ready, many resources in deep seabed, we are able to leverage them in an economic and safe way. I would not go into the details.
Well, I would like to share with you a conclusion in the end. You can see I write it here with Shenzhen's land pictures because, according to myself, those deep sea minings should be an important starting point for Shenzhen to build itself into the global ocean center city. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Tang. Well, you just now have shared with a lot of interesting ideas. I think the key word one is environmental protection. I really agree with you because in the future, when we want to explore the deep sea resources, we should always put environmental protection as a top priority. Thank you so much, Mr. Tang. Okay, now let's invite the former dean, from the IEF, Mr. Sun Xianding, to share with us his opinions. Now let's give the floor to Mr. Sun. Thank you, our moderator. And I would like to thank you so much for our organization committee for the invitation. Well, I haven't visited Shenzhen for many years because I always stay in foreign countries, and several years ago I stayed in Saudi Arabia. And I have stayed a really long time in Saudi Arabia. So it's the first time ever in recent years. I have been recommended by Ahmed Research Institute Dean. So that's why they invite me. And I haven't visited Shenzhen in 20 years. So you can see that if you didn't see a city in 2 decades, it will be like a big changes to me. You can see at that time the road is not so well. At that time we only got to the World Window Park. And but now you can see the whole thing has changed. So I'd like to express my heartfelt thanks for organization committees. Well, speaking about the sea, you can see this really important platform and stage for the oil and the gas minings. Well, in the whole world, you can see 70% area has been covered by oceans, which is quite important for humans' necessity in their livings. This area is full of the gas and the rich and the hydrogen resources, etc. And also they are the 21st century important energy source. So that's why if you want to guarantee those people's livelihood and also try to solve the issues for people's resources needs, we want to build like the maritime Silk Road. They have definitely it's of great significance in this part. And also in sea, you can find a lot of solid and also gas form and other different minerals. And speaking about mineral deposit, you can see total volume is like 100 billion tons. And also you can see in 100 different countries, we already carry out about those undersea minerals, and in 50 countries they already have the deep seas gas and also the oil forms. In 19 basins, they already get like 3.3 billion ton oil gas developed, and among them, like 70% has been distributed in Mexico Gulf and also the east of the Brazil and also the West Africa and also the 10 different deep sea basins. And we also have they have constituted of the 3 triangles in all those oil gas. 31% of the whole world oil and gas has come from the triangles, and also due to the technology technology development, you can see we have pace up, especially in the oil gas explorations. And thanks to those comprehensive developing and also explorations of the oil gas, we have also have the positive impact thanks to the technology development in this part. And as for the exploitation technologies improvement, it will going to enable China to further extend our explorations from this offshore area to deep sea areas. It has also provide the solid technology base for our future explorations. Until this day, you can see the cumulated productions only accounts for 26.8% and also 70.7%. This is exploration rate, and it's definitely 39.4% lower than the explorations in the land areas. And also we can see, and also that's for the deep sea areas, the explorations compared with the land areas, whether it's oil and gas, we did not, those areas like underdeveloped areas. So that's why we want to make sure that in futures we can leverage the resources in these areas. According to the Energy Agency, according to IEA and IEF, that is the institute I work for, it's called the National Resources Forums, and also the OPEC. They're the top 3 oil and gas agency in the world according to the IEA statistics. And whether it's the RUC and also the other different forms, the total volume is 35.7 billion tons. And from all those data, you can see that whether it's like the oil and the gas in the sea, we only has developed the 23% of those gases in these areas. So that's why we are in the early stage of the exploration in the underseas. And speaking about those shallow area, that is the area that is less than 400 meters. You can see we got 2 different distributed systems according to U.S. system. So the shallow water is like the 4 below that, the 500 meters according to Norway system, like 300 meters. So in this area, you can see the exploration rate is like 28.5% and 13%. And as for the gas exploration, 36.6%. And in the futures, we believe that whether it's oil and the gas in the sea areas, it definitely enjoy the great potential for the exploration and prospecting. And also they are going to have something to do with the energy transformations, and also the President Xi Jinping has mentioned this in September's Congress speech, and we mentioned that by the end of the 2030s we want to break all those goals. And as for our next stage goal, you can this is also going to involve a lot of discussion from the resources wise. We believe that right now we're in the preliminary stage. And so speaking about the trend for the future explorations, considering from technology-wise, you can see that we already witnessed some improvements in the futures. We are also going to assess seismic detection technology and try to further extend the technology, and also use the AI and other technology to help us, such as the digital cloud technology and also the IoT, big data, etc. So we want to improve the digitalization level in this technology, and also we're going to have the integrated technology. We want to make sure different disciplines can work closely together in this part. And thanks to the AI and AI's combination with the big data, they can help us to further enable this integration process. And also thanks to the natural resources statistics. And right now you can see the added value and also the increase extent of this part has facing the stable increase. And right now there are 20% of the 20% and 11% of the oil and the gas exploration is in China. And but we are way lower than the average level of the world stage. The world stage level is 16%. But right now you can see we are way behind the national levels, right? So that's why right now we are in the early and middle stage. We firmly believe that in the futures it will become the strategic priority for our future development. And speaking about development for the oil and gas, we still enjoy a great potential, but the potential coexisted with a challenge. So thanks to the technology of information technology and the oil and the gas fields, they are going to enter the era of digitalization. And as for the deep sea production, right now they have been facing the full-scale application in the future. Thanks to the breakthrough of technology, we're going to have the undersea plants and factories. And as for the French and also the other technology, they also drive forward those the coastal mines and also the other resources to enjoy the high efficiency development and the cost combustible ice. Perhaps you have heard this word a lot in news, and also the hydrogen products, such as thanks to technology breakthrough, we're going to have a really promising future. And I also mentioned one thing that is in the future, what kind of the big trend and opportunity we face. And later, we're going to give you more details. And right now, we face the top 3 challenge and top 3 opportunity. But as for detail, I'm going to share with you later. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sun. Well, just now, you have mentioned that today's day we face a low carbon transaction demands for energies. So I would like you to give us more detail in this aspect, especially if you are involved about the oil and the gas prospecting for the Chinese enterprises, how to cope with those low oil gas and also this stagnant demands, and also meet with those more and more strict legal regulations for the Chinese enterprises, how to cope with it. Well, I think you had just proposed a general topic. Perhaps we need at least several hours and involve like 100 people for this discussion. I believe that this is a pressing issue for everyone. The first is a low oil price. This is a common issue. So since the 2000s, the oil price has faced the dramatic changes since then. And we can see that this has never been seen before because it has been triggered by economic crisis, and also the change of the supply and demand relationship, as well as the conflict between the production and the service. So that's why you can see there are the big fluctuation from the $140 to drop to almost the negative level. So if you want to sell these oils, you need to give some subsidy for the people to carry forward, to deliver the oil for you. So that's why they call it like negative oil price. So how to face with the super low oil price? This is something Chinese enterprises need to solve. Well, according to the Chinese, the CNPC and also Sinopec and the other enterprises that fix a lot of the profit loss in this case, especially right now, those oil prices will lower than operation cost. And in the second corner, only CNOOC get some positive revenue, while the other top 2 companies suffer great loss in this case. So you can see that for other SME, they have faced even more challenge in this case. And speaking about those service industry in this part, they have faced the same dilemma. So that's why I believe this is a big challenge. And the other is the energy transaction. Well, in 1995, since 2015, thanks to the Paris Conference, right now 193 countries around the world, they try to cope with this agreement, and they try to deal with the oil and gas changes. Although right now U.S. has exited from this agreement, but from other continents, you can see right now people are pressing ahead with this agreement. And right now the President Xi Jinping has also make a promise that we are going to further cut down the carbon emissions based on our current standard. And also for some European countries, in this case, they has taken a lot of great measures in this part. They has mentioned that they are going to totally ban the coal burnings. They say that some say that by the end of 2025, and the other countries say that by the end of 2030, we're going to ban the coal burnings in the whole Europe areas. And also for the coal burning vehicles, perhaps we're going to totally ban these cars by around 2030s. And also for those vehicles producing factories, they are going to stop producing those coal burning countries. And even some countries, they have legally banned the production and the usage of those cars. So you can see this is a big challenge facing all the companies related in this industry. So that's why right now, whether it's a car carbon emission reduction policy and other policy, if the companies cannot adjust themselves to the new policy in the future, the future development are going to be not only a worrying one, they also need to take new measures to cope with it. And they also need to think about how to have a smooth transition facing the energy regulation. According to our think tank research, by around 2030, this is a peak of the consumption. After it passes peak, right now, all the investment in this current stage, whether this investment can generate a really good revenue, is something you need to consider. If you right now invested in sustainable resources, perhaps in 2030 you can generate a handsome revenue. But if you invest in other fields, the situation is not the same. This is a big challenge facing technology, such as whether you need to continue to increase your investment in this technology. So just now, as mentioned, the top 3 challenges, and then together with it, we also have the top 3 opportunity. Perhaps if we get enough time, I'm going to share with you in this part.
Thank you, Mr. Sun. A very elaborate interpretation. Coming next, I'd like to turn to Mr. Andrew Lipman, Director of Subsea and Mining Operations, ABS Great China, to share your viewpoints on deep seabed mining, and also you can discuss with us how can Chinese enterprises to cope with the challenges. Thank you. Thank you. Thank the moderator. Thank you for this opportunity. Sorry, my Mandarin is limited. I'll switch to English.
So today we want to talk about only mining, not oil and gas, even though that's part of our industry. But today, to limit the few minutes we have to talk, we'll talk about subsea mining. So this picture is very much like what my colleagues have talked about, the Huangbao, because if you look at what will have the greater effect, if you pick up the rocks from 4,000 meters, or if you go to the land and you cut down all the trees and you dig a huge hole, which will have the worst effect on the environment to get the same material? Much bigger effect. So this picture right away gives you a feeling of how big this problem is, why we're going to do subsea mining in the future. So I have 3 topics to briefly cover. The first is the technological challenges that my colleagues also covered. The second, maybe more important, is the statutory, just a 法律法定, very important. Maybe harder to overcome those challenges than the technological challenges, I think. And the third topic is what is the role of ABS? How can an international classification society help to overcome the 2 challenges? So briefly, we have we have done an analysis of the challenges that face deep sea mining. They fall into 5 categories. The first is the support vessel, or you can say platform, Pingtai, Chuan. It's really no difference, But this may be one of the least challenging, because we already have such a thing. It exists already in Fujian Mawei. They have a mining vessel has been built, is 90% complete, is quite able to go to work. But maybe you know the story. The owner's Dalbila, But the vessel itself, the challenges were met. This is also with the help of ABS. The second is quite interesting, is the subsea mining tools, and these were also built. There's examples. We have a company here, maybe they're in the audience, is SPD from England, very, very advanced with the subsea mining tools. But there are other companies that can do very similar, can make it. It's a technological challenge, but one I think can be, has been overcome. The third, in my opinion, may be one of the more challenging. This is the riser and lift system, just a Liguan bung. This has many different ways to approach this. It depends on the weight, the depth that you're mining, and the pump is a very difficult. What type of system are you going to use? It doesn't necessarily have to be a pump. It can be many advanced systems that people have thought to get the rocks from the bottom 4,000 meters all the way to the top is quite challenging. And to do this in a reliable manner, because you're going to need what we call uptime. You know, your return will only be as much as you can have uptime for your mining system. Fourth challenge is the cargo handling and dewatering systems. This is a different system, but it has one advantage. It exists on the surface. So any problems, any baoyang, any maintenance, you can do. You don't have to stop your mining and pick it up. You can do the maintenance on the pumps and the dewatering system and the cargo handling system while you're operating. So it's much less of a technological challenge than the others, but still a challenge. And there are many details we can go into. The key issue, I will call this, is the integration and control systems. This maybe is not intuitive, but I believe my colleague Xiansheng talked about intelligent, 智能系统, right? Intelligent systems. For this mining system must exist for maybe not come back to shore for 5 years. You can be doing mining for 5 years and not come back to shore. So the control system, and to make this an integrated system, you don't just think of the ship, you don't just think of the mining tools, the pump. It's one big system, and a very complicated system. How to control this, how to prevent entanglements, how to keep track of the mining as the mining tool and the ship are moving together. This is maybe the key issue, and this will be where the engineers really make their mark on the system. If you can keep this system up 90% of the time working, the mining system, then you've achieved something. This would be a key goal. Now we move to the one thing I think is more difficult than technical challenge, the regulatory challenges. So you can divide this into two. Where are you mining? Are you mining in what they call the international area? Or are you mining in a coastal state exclusive economic zone? This will develop how you're going to meet the regulatory challenges. I think most people are aware the ISA, International Seabed Authority, has not produced the mining guide so far, the exploitation rules. They will. At that point, you can mine in the international areas. My opinion is before this happens, the mining will go in one of the small nations, EEZ. I think this will be the first commercial venture will be in some nation's economic zone. I don't know which. Anyway, that nation will have mining rules. The mining venture will have to meet the mining rules for that nation. Yeah. This includes, of course, the the environmental impact study, which I think many people know is very difficult to meet. This requires actually on-site and watching the mining tools and watching the subsea plume, how much mud is coming up and how it's dispersing. This has to be done on-site. It's quite a challenge. And one thing, the last point there is the flag state, Guoqida. Which flag state is a very interesting question. It's maybe not so much thinking about here, but the flag state has authority. That ship or that platform is the nation, belongs to the nation that it's hanging the flag up. So it can be Fangbianqi, it can be a convenient flag, third-party flag, can be Chinese flag, can be whatever country is in the economic zone, the flag. The flag state will have a lot to say about the environmental impact from the mining, not only the ISA. The flag state will definitely have authority over this job. So quickly, why are we here? Why are we talking about this? In every oil and gas industry, in the shipping industry, you have the disanfang, you have the third party must approve, must classify or certify the equipment and the systems. Why? What is the goal of the third party? Is to ensure the safety of people. First is people, number one. Number two is the equipment, so you don't lose your investment. And number three, of course, is the environment. This is our job. This is our mission, is to look for the safety of the people, the equipment, and the environment. So how do we do this? We do this through having in October, in this month, at the end of this month, ABS will publish the guide for subsea mining. This is our rules. So ABS mining rules will be published. This can be used by the flag state, by the mining company, to their entire venture according to the rules that are set up. Otherwise, you have no what you would call objective standard. 客观的标准. You don't have such a thing now. Soon we'll have. This is a lot of work was done by our engineers in ABS to develop this standard. Now this gives everybody some confidence. You say, well, we know this company is going to mine according to an international standard. My company has been involved in the oceans for 160 years. So we're not going to go away. We're not going to change. We're going to do the job we've been doing for the last 160 years and approve this mining venture, so that all parties can understand that there's an objective standard. So this is approximately. 我讲完了。
好的，好的，十分感谢。
谢谢。
Thank you very much.
安迪先生给我们分享了他十分宝贵。
Andrew has shared with us his insights and experience related to this topic. I think it's rather thought-provoking and some food for thought, right? Okay, so later on, we will jointly discuss this issue. But for now, I'd like to ask Mr. Li Sunwei, Professor Li Sunwei, Assistant Professor of Shenzhen International Graduate School, to share his thoughts. Welcome. Thank you, thank the moderator, and thank our panelists. I think the previous speakers have mentioned two parts. The first one is related to deep seabed mining. It will take at least 6 or 8 years to be able to be commercialized. And some also shared that the deep seabed mining, deep seabed oil and gas is relatively mature, internationally speaking, but domestic offshore gas and oil and field accounts for 1/3 of our total demand. So that proved this current scale. So in the long term, we have to wait for 6 or 8 years to be able to start deep seabed mining, but we are at the eve of an outburst, right? You have mentioned that natural gas hydrate, actually in 2017, our company, so we have started a trial exploitation of natural gas hydrate in the US. It's a joint experiment, and the other party in the US has 7 years of experience. And in the South China Sea, we have started a trial exploitation of a natural gas hydrate with real production. So after that, in deep sea bed mining, I think that will be one of our key focus in the future. Deep sea bed mining. One panelist has also mentioned that deep sea bed mining should be an important bridgehead for Shenzhen to become an international oceanic-centric city. So deep sea bed resources should also become important supply for this nation. And one panelist has rightly pointed out that we are in the energy transitional period, including environmental rules and the impact caused by the oil price fluctuations. We are all transitioning to new energies. However, starting from 2015 to now, the renewable energies in China, including the world, maybe not excluding Europe. Europe might be doing better, but renewable resources in the world, it accounts for 5% in the past, but now maybe 7 or 8%. And in 2015, it's about 5.8%. And it replaced coal primarily, right? In Europe, it's also primarily coal. But oil and gas, the consumption of oil and gas from 2015 to now, its ratio has little changes. Oil 11% and natural gas over 11%, maybe 1/3, and also their hydropower and nuclear power. But oil and gas still account for a major share.
In the future, especially in short term, such as 10 or 20 years, it's a predictable future. According to myself, if you totally rely on the sustainable resources such as solar, wind, and also the other power, I don't think this is a realistic picture. So that's why right now we're facing about a low price situation, but with the recovery of the world economy in the post-COVID-19 situation, with the recovery of the world economy, I believe the demand for the chemical resources chemical fuel resources are going to last for many years, such as for those hydrocarbon material that generated the natural gas after mining it. So I firmly believe in the future you can dig deeply into these resources. It's not like the deep sea seabed resources, you need to wait like 10 years for the mature commercialization. I believe in the next 5 years, we're going to realize there's a comprehensive commercial developings for those combustible gas, because right now technology is quite mature. And speaking about the reservoir of the combustible gas, right now you can see the reservoir has stand. The total resources has the total volumes of the combustible gas is like two times of the other chemical resources. So that's why I believe that right now it accounts for like 10% of the sea area in South China Sea. So apart from those the areas in the North Seas, you can see that we get a lot of the combustible gas in the South China Sea. So let's say that in 2018 or 2019, the energy consumptions data, we believe that by using these figures, we can use the resources at least for many years, but they can also show you that we get a really large combustible gas reservoir in China. So that's why we believe that in the next 5 years, we can make some breakthrough in this part, especially technology-wise, just like Andy has mentioned. Perhaps we can also sort through the legal issue, because the deep sea mining has faced some regulation pressure. We need to make some breakthrough in this part so that we can enable the mature commercializing, developing, especially in the manganese nodules, etc., and also the combustible gas. Because we focus on the research, so that's why compared with enterprises, we still have some gap between the technology research to the technology application. Then there are top two barrier we want to solve. The first is safety issue. The other is the economic issue. Concerning about the exploration of those combustible gas, such as the Lingshui oil minings, we got like 1.5 million we can export each day, but in U.S. the same minings is only like 10,000 or 100,000 tons per day. So when we have those test area, you can select 5,000 cubic meters, and in Japan you can see the result is quite good. It's like the 20,000 cubic meters. So that's why in a global stage, with our current technology, we believe that efficiency should be like 10,000 to 30,000 cubic meters. So that's why compared with the deep sea minings, the efficiency is quite low. So that's why the cost effectiveness is something you need to consider with the same platform to support you, and also the riser and the lifting system. They're going to determine the final economic efficiency. So that's why combustible gas as efficiency is a headache you need to solve first. We need the support from the research institute to work closer together to solve this issue. The other is a safety issue. The combustible ice. We face several issues in the South China Sea. So first, you can see that combustible ice in China is quite different because we are in the sand seabed rather than in the tundra areas. So that's why I have to make sure we not only dig those resources but prevent those deep sea earthquake is something we need to consider. We want to make sure that combustible ice will be exploited in the safe way. And also you can see that a lot of the methane has also been just generated in the same times because they are going to be explored in the gas form, so you need to consider the safe issue. So that's why speaking about those deep sea resources, the oil resources, gas resources, right now we are in the middle level of the explorations. We believe in the future we need to put more efforts and attention in this part. And the other is mineral resources. We need another 10 years or like 12 or 15 years. So that's why we have a great hope for the futures in the combustible gas exploration. And we are going to have the comprehensive commercial development in this part. Thank you so much, Mr. Li. Well, I want to ask you a follow-up question because we know that this year suffered by the COVID-19, the big blow has been imposed to many economies. So facing the large-scale commercialization and also facing the pressure of the environmental protection, what is your opinion and what is your take on those regulations and also environmental technology and also the other parts? Well, this has been mentioned by Mr. Andy. If you want to explore those ice in South China Sea, you need to know that right now Shenzhen is the special economic zone, and who are going to be in charge of those resources, and what is their supervision focus. You need to consider all those parts. They are like the pressing issue to be solved, especially in the undersea mining, because they use a new technology. If we are the first ever company to solve or to tap into the resources, if we're the first ever country to use these resources, so if any accident happens, who will be held accountable? So that's why for the government, they need to brainstorm together to solve this issue. This is one thing. Well, let's put it this way. The U.S. got several different states. They are developing those automated cars. Right now, it's not a technology issue. The technology is quite mature. The issue is that when accidents happen, who are going to be held accountable? The punishment should be imposed on the software developers or hardware developers? So right now you can see that right now for the AVS we already passed the certifications, and so that's why how to make sure when we apply the mineral cases, how to make sure everything is in good order. So that's why in the South China Sea, whether it's like the combustible ice development and also the other different resources plannings, who should be in charge of those resources and how to manage the resources. The other thing you need to consider is that has been mentioned by Mr. Andy. The first is the personnel safety. The other is the safety of the equipment. The third is also for our environment safety. So from the regulation perspective. Well, I believe environment element is something we need to pay close attention to. It's easy to start with, and also easy to come to the common page. Such as in 2017 in South China Sea, we have the test piloting, and we also put the ROV to have those mission and also some the supervision for those earthquake, and also some the subsea and classing those upseas. And right now we got some other companies such as Subsea and OOC. They are dealing with their own data. Well, generally speaking, we should ask the authority to do those works rather than put it on the shoulder of the enterprises. And perhaps the enterprises can show you there is no mission and no like the other materials, carbon dioxide, etc. But you should know that enterprises will not present it with those evidence that is not on their side. So that's why government should think about the environment issue. From this perspective, they should start with and use our current environment regulations to see that whether you should apply them in the deep sea minings. And from this perspective, then you need to try to solve the issue of the safety for the equipment, personnel, etc. So I believe that will be easier to solve in this way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we noticed like we're almost running out of time, so that's why I would like to open the floor to our audience present here. Anyone? So if you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand. Well, we notice everyone has been fully merged in this panel. So I would like to ask a question to start with. I would like to hear from everyone, every panelist. Just now we have mentioned that today, so some mining and also exploration technologies, some which is promising, and what kind of obstacles lie in our path. And I would like to ask another first up question, such as in this fluctuation situation, how to guarantee the interest and rights of the investors. We'd like to hear everyone to share with us. Well, speaking about exploration technology, I would like to start with the solid form minerals, not excluding the oil and gas. Right now, speaking about the application, I think it's not only wide, far and wide, because for the humankind, right now our exploration for the sea not only represent our progress and more awareness of the oceans, and technology is quite important. We believe that for the ocean resources, especially the deep sea resources, it's unreachable and inaccessible by human activity. So that's why all these things, perhaps we can use like ROV and other unmanned vehicles to do the sampling and observation. And with the development and advance of the AI and also the big data, it has further drive those deep sea technology to have those detailed exploration. So I believe that for the online system, I'm definitely a great advocate for this technology, especially for the high power ROV. I think highly of the systems. Well, how to think about of this issue? From my take, for those mineral resources, I believe this is definitely super large ROV. You can use the system to control and to have those strong power operation. For the system itself, the operation precondition is to use the RUV to have the comprehensive environment monitoring. So from the small to large size, we need to develop the system in an all-round way. The other related issue is, well, just now one scenario has been described by Mr. Andy, such as in the surface operation platform, as well as the energy technology. Well, when we carry out all those sea activity, we need energy to support it. Right now, we use like the tidal power energy and the solar energy, and then also nuclear energy and the other clean energy. How to use them in those sea mining and exploration, and whether the transportation system can rely on the technology such as they can charging themselves with electricity, such as the charging pile, to solve about the energy issue. Well, in this case, you can see that when we carry out the sea activity, it will be convenient for humankind. We not only want to develop the oceans, we will learn more about the ocean. How to capitalize on the resources is quite vital, so that in every corner of the oceans, we feel intimate with it, close to our heart. So that's why I believe this technology, they are like an important carrier. Perhaps we are also going to like a submersible, or also they added the undersea sensors, and they are going to involve that the chemical and the physics aspect. This technology are going to last. And I believe that they are going to always stay there, even when we don't need to have the mining anymore. So this is my understanding in this part. Well, I would like to give you my take. For this issue, I believe that for a lot of enterprises, they pay close attention to it, about their ROI, whether they can win the money back. So right now, there's one article has been published by international organizations. We need to start focus on two aspects. One is about strategic research. In the future, what is the trend for the future? If you take the wrong direction, all the money will never come back.
I have said earlier that energy transitioning and climate change and other related issues. Each year, we organize an energy outlook session and research. And based on this best research, International Energy Bureau and other organizations have reached the consensus that from this year to 2040, coal, gas, natural gas, and oil, these are still the primary resources. Although there are many efforts to cut down carbon emission, but nevertheless, fossil-based energies are still the primary ones before the year 2040. So against this background, how to understand the future trend is pivotal for investment. That's my first point. And secondly, be it new energy or the solar energy and geothermal energy and hydro energy, including nuclear power. So for these new energies, to be able to harness them, we must have technological breakthroughs. I think two technological breakthroughs are very important in deep seabed mining. The first one is ROV. The three-letter stands for Remote Operating Vehicles. They can operate under 1,000, 2,000 meters under sea level. We need to improve the safety of those devices and enhance the safety of those devices. And another important technological breakthroughs, the vessels and also the production and storage and processing devices on the vessel. And they must be connected with the undersea equipment. And with the 5G, big data, and intelligent intelligent technologies in place, we are able to do it. So strategic research plus technological a breakthrough, we can guarantee ROI. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I'd like to say a few words. I think this question is raised from the investors' perspective. As enterprises, we have invested in this field for over 1 decade, a lot of money. But if we think back several decades ago, each technological advancement and industrial growth, there are a group of venture capital or the visionary investors that are taking the first step. So how to protect the rights and benefits of investors? So for these people, before they are making the investment, maybe they are not considering ROI adequately, because for societal and human progress, we need these visionaries. If you are not making investment, someone will. So also from a legal perspective, from economic growth, and from other equity or equality perspective, so no matter how you put it, personally, from an investor's perspective, how to say it? If this issue is not addressed, if no one is making the investment, then maybe 200 years ago, starting from 200 years ago, we won't be making any breakthroughs. So society progress requires some people, statistically speaking, to address the issues, to make breakthroughs. Otherwise, we won't be able any progress. And there's a metaphor in China. If the 3 monks, none of them are going to fetch water to drink, then the 3 monks will die. So someone will have to fetch the water for the community. So investors, their interest and their benefit, objectively, they are safeguarded, statistically speaking. But of course, there are some investment failures. So, but as enterprises, if there are more nations and organizations to jointly discuss this issue, then we will be able to better protect the interest of investors or the venture capital and visionaries. That's my thoughts. I don't think, from a macro perspective, I think investment, their benefits can be safeguarded. Thank you. I'll go very quickly. My opinion is like this. Actually, my opinion echoes with Mr. Sun's. From an investor's interest perspective, we cannot protect the interest of each and every investor, but maybe 40% investors have made money. They have doubled or 3 times of ROI. But from an overall perspective, since we're engaged in scientific research, we are also relying on technological breakthroughs and research breakthroughs, and relying on the existing oil and gas offshore fields. Can they be truly unmanned and modularized? If so, then cost can be dived down. And secondly, with our incumbent technologies, can we have new breakthroughs, not only in the oil and gas exploitation, but also harnessing wind power and solar power, photovoltaic power? So from a research perspective, we are relying on technological breakthroughs to enhance our existing exploitation activity more and more valuable, or to make this offshore exploitation activity more valuable by diving down the cost and increasing production. Mr. Sun has mentioned, which I agree, that in at least 2 decades ahead, the oil and gas exploitation should be transited from land to ocean. Currently, there are many international organizations that are affecting this transition. And also in China, we have also observed the trend from land to ocean. So as long as you can seize the trend and you're able to drive down the cost and increase production, then from a macro perspective, your investment in this field will not be loss-making. So, Andrew, do you want to say something? Actually, I'm curious. I'd like to ask one question. How many years ahead do we have to wait to have a real deep-sea bed mining? What is your take on it? How many years?
How many years in the future will there be the first successful mining venture? Estimate.
I'd like to hear your thoughts. Deep sea mining, right? Yes. And which nation will go ahead? I think Professor Lee has thumbed up for me, hoping that our company can be the first. But whichever company, as long as the market demand continue to rise and the unsustainability of land resources and land exploitations, I think it is the trend. Some say 2020, some say 2028. So 6 years to go and 8 years to go, respectively, for the two companies. And also there are some other players. But my projection, so what do you want me to project for? I can give a number that counts or maybe not counts. I think it's 5 years. Thank you for the applause, but please do not applaud so easily. Because for investors or investors bigger than us, we are like actually sending an invitation to those big investors. 5 years, that's awesome, right? It's an industry with over 100 billion, right? But actually, we won't be able to use that amount of money. But maybe the nation will be the investor in this industry. If a nation were to invest in an economic activity, I don't think it's appropriate. We'd better rely on the market. The nation can support infrastructure and fundamental rudimentary research to enrich the national economic system and optimize its structure. But if the nation were to invest in a deep-sea mining project to be profitable, it's something that I don't think a nation should do. Maybe it's not me, but maybe it should be done by an enterprise, be it a SOE or a private enterprise or whatever. So let me say a few words. So first, I'd like to say that we should give you a round of applause for saying the 5 years, right? But I'd like to say something that's not 100% the same with your opinion. I've been visited over 90 nations. I've been to US for 35 times. So I have seen that this pandemic has wreaked havoc on many nations, in particular US. So maybe this will delay 1 to 2 years of this progress. Because if the economic is not doing good, then people's living are also some problems. So no one has the money, the extra money to invest in this industry. There are many companies that have been bankrupted in the oil and gas industry. And these companies used to be the richest But now I know they are doing very bad. Andy used to work in Halibusiness, right? This service company is in a very bad shape. So against this backdrop, you must exclude this 2 to 3 years after the pandemic. And you mentioned 6 years and 8 years. I think 8 years is more appropriate for your reference. Okay. In response to your rejection, I think it's perfectly okay. But when we started 11 years ago, we encountered very negative comments wherever we go. No one is encouraging you to do it. But we have walked this path for 11 years, and I have accumulated confidence and courage. But I'm not arguing with you, but all the investment opportunities, the bigger they are actually going in the opposite way, right? Okay, like we can see that our discussion is very great. Our panelists have shared their insights and viewpoints. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you again. Let's stand in a row and take a group photo. Why? Because they want to post in their WeChat moments.